Good morning everyone, and welcome to my Prima Watercolor speed paint. I was delighted to have the opportunity to add some more of these to my collection as a birthday gift this year, since I had good experiences in the past with the complexion set. Today for the first time I'll be using the Pastel Dream set, the Shimmering Light set, and the Vintage Pastels set. Packaging wise, I think it's really cool that each set comes with its own fold out mixing trays and a handy little swatch sheet so you can always have a color reference. Each set comes with 12 colors that are super pigmented, and I find them really friendly to use. I was drawn to using the Vintage Pastels set most of all since the colors were really unique and muted. They're incredibly easy to build and they layer really nicely. Spoiler alert. These guys definitely have the potential to be super pigmented. I don't really like to use strong colors right off the bat. I like to build stuff up. But if you like that sort of thing, you can definitely get some color out of these guys. I did use colors from all three of these new sets in my painting today, but I found myself using the Vintage Pastels and Shimmering Lights most. The Pastel Dreams were a little too bright for the vibe I was going for, but that's okay. I'm looking forward to using them in the future with, I don't know, maybe flowers or food or bugs or, I don't know, there's all sorts of things I could do. Don't mind the quality of this first part. I used a different camera and it was less than satisfactory, so I'm switching to a new camera in just a minute. For the first part of this, I just went in with a nice periwinkle color in the Vintage Pastel set to do my shading. Honestly, when I started with the Vintage Pastel set, it made it kind of hard to want to jump into the other sets because each of the colors in that one are so complementary to each other. I didn't want to miss out on the potential that they had. The nice little friendship that each of those colors had. You can't split up happy little color friends. You can tell whoever designed the set or made the colors had a vision in mind, and I really like it. They knew exactly what they wanted, and that was vintage pastels, and I super appreciate them. Whoever you are out there, good job on this one. Honestly, I didn't really know what colors I wanted to use going into this. I didn't have a strong vision for what colors I wanted everything to be. So I just kind of went with it. I wanted to play with the new sets and see what came out of it. It's kind of fun to experiment and see where they go. I actually drew this painting way ahead of time preemptively, which it's not uncommon for me to do. I like to have at least 2 paintings set up, so if I have a day where I really feel like painting, I got a painting to paint. Or if you have new art supplies, you can just jump right in with them. I'm a big advocate of setting yourself up for success with art supplies, having something that you can just be satisfied right when you get them. That way you can I don't know, enjoy them to the fullest and see their full potential when you get them. Because I don't know about you, but as soon as I get new art supplies, I'm in the car, ready, or whatever. At the mailbox. I'm at the mailbox ready to paint. I'm also a big advocate of embracing whatever art day you're having. Sometimes I wake up and I'm I'm gonna do a bunch of line art today. I'm feeling excited and inspired, let's draw some stuff. Or some days I'm tired and just want to paint some paintings. But regardless of the day, it's nice to have projects set up so you can kind of go with the flow of however you're feeling. I find that helps me a lot with art block too. If I have more than one thing I can just get into, instead of having to start a whole new project each time I want to do something creative. If I have a few going, I can kind of pick and get inspired off of each one as I go. I can stare at Instagram all day or Pinterest or whatever or watch movies, but honestly the thing that cures art block the most for me is success. So if I have a bunch of good paintings in a row, it makes me feel motivated to do more good paintings. But if I have a constant feeling stuck, I can't get one started good, or they're just not turning out, or I don't have a project that's satisfying, I find that I get really stuck and then can't make more projects because I feel stuck. So I like to have I like to set myself up for success. This way too, if you don't have a lot of time for art, you can piddle away with projects and embrace what kind of time you have and then put that into a piece that'll later be satisfying and I don't know, make you feel good regardless of whatever time you have or don't have. I don't know if anyone else does this like I do this sort of thing, but I like to switch up my mediums too if I start to feel kind of stagnant or like I don't have any new ideas. I find that each medium has kind of they have a new vibe and a new feel that's can give you ideas for your other mediums, and it's a happy little chain of inspiration if you like more than one thing. I'm most comfortable doing watercolors. I think my best works come from watercolors. I think they fit my my style the best, but I find myself doing acrylics a lot if I feel like I'm stagnating. And lately I've been really enjoying glass pens and ink. I've never really played with ink like that before, besides Copic markers, but they're really expensive. So I had to quit Copics because they kind of ran out for me before I could fill them. The replacements were expensive, so I don't know, I like my acrylics. And I'm liking ink lately. I'm gonna post an ink video too with the glass pens. It's not perfect, but it was fun to experiment and practice. So watercolors are like home. They're like, I know that I'll have fun if I use my watercolors. That's actually one reason I started really focusing on watercolors, is they last forever. You don't really have to worry about replacing them for a long time, because they go forever. There's only been one watercolor set I started to run out of pigments with, and that was my first one of those cute little ones you see at the art store. But I don't know, I love these guys. They last a super long time. You don't have to stress about the cost of and these guys, their replacements are super affordable. It's like $1 per paint on Amazon or whatever if you do run out. A lot of my favorite artists use oil paints, and I've tried them before, but they smell so strong I can't stand it. Gives me a headache, but I really appreciate people who do use oil paints. Watercolors don't really have any sort of smell unless you're using the tube kind. Those guys can be a little funky. Most of the time when I'm doing watercolors, I go over them with colored pencils at the end to add some shading and detail, but I didn't think it was appropriate for this one. I wanted to just have fun with the Prima watercolors and see what they did on their own and how it looked. I'll do my usual progress in a future video, but this was fun to just. I'm not so sure how I feel about this top moth. I mean, he's not terrible, but I think I like how the bottom moth turned out more. I've been drawing a lot of moths lately. I think they're super, I don't know, they're cute. It's like a nighttime butterfly. They're like a underappreciated, soft nighttime butterfly. It's like if a sweater was an animal. I love them. I think they're so cool. I know some people are really afraid of them, but I think they're just the coolest little soft guys. I have a little moth painting set up I'm gonna do in the future, I think, for a video, but it'll be acrylics. I've been playing with trying to make the muted colors with acrylics and see how they turn out. I think everybody probably does this, but I go through different phases of wanting to just draw one thing, like I'm gonna put 100 Luna moths in every painting, or I'm gonna just draw dandelions for the next month. I went through a phase where I really wanted to learn to draw roses, so all I drew was roses and painted roses, and I painted 100 roses, but now there's I don't know, I'm not perfect at drawing roses, but they're pretty comfortable for me to paint after doing them over and over again. I also like looking at old botany books, like old illustrated plant books, because their illustrations are so clean. I like the lines, and often they use watercolors too, I think, but I think that they're a great reference for if you're trying to learn the organic shapes of flowers and how they work so that it looks right when you're drawing them. They have a neat vibe. I have a super old one that I found in my grandpa's bookshelf that I use all the time, and I know Pinterest has a lot of references for old botanical art. I think that it's a really good source of, I don't know, everyone uses Pinterest. I like Pinterest. It's dangerous though, it's easy to get sucked in, kind of like Instagram, where you find yourself staring at Pinterest for 3 hours instead of using that time for drawing. You gotta set some rules, at least I do. I had to I don't know, I'm allowed to look at Pinterest for 20 minutes, and then I have to utilize that time better, because I could just stare at it all day. I like making little mood boards in InDesign. I don't know, I was taught that in school, and now I just make mood boards when I'm trying to come up with an idea. I have a board for everything, right? But I don't know, they could be more organized. my animal board is slowly just becoming moths. It's all moths right now. I have a possum board. I have a specific possum board, but my animal board is just kind of a whatever fest. And so is my reference board. Look at this happy little guy down here. I really like how this bottom moth turned out. He turned out just how I thought. I tried to blend some other greens into the other one and it was a little too bright. That's okay. I'm not mad at it. It was just fun to play around. I think my favorite part of all this actually turned out to be like her eyes and her cheeks. The cheeks were really fun to play with the different rosy tones in these palettes. There's a really good one in the vintage pastels, and there's a super good one in the pastel dreams that I used to kind of brighten it up a little bit. They're super good little happy blush tones. This kind of like woody berry color is super good for the Luna moths. I was really surprised at how well it turned out. It was just the perfect color, and I was super happy. And same with the flowers. It was fun to match the flowers in her hair to the flowers around her. I need some new flower ideas. If anyone has any ideas for like different flowers you'd like to see me try, I might do a video on learning new flowers, and I don't know, I want to broaden my spectrum of cool stuff I can put in my paintings. I like my paintings to have lots of foliage. Any insects and animals too. I'd love to hear what people, I don't know, what they might like to see in the comments. Just let me know. It's kind of funny to me now that I'm doing this how scared I was to make this video. I'm like, oh, what if, I don't know, what could go wrong. It's scary to talk and stuff and paint and draw and have people look at you, even though I watch them all day. Like, I love speed paints and stuff, so I hope people like these, and I'm looking forward to doing some more. At this point I went a little crazy with the Shimmering Lights palette. I didn't realize how strong it was. Like these glitters pack a punch, and I was pleasantly surprised and also shocked. Like I thought that I'd have to build it up, but no, right off the bat it was like a little fireworks. After the video I actually went in and blended it out a little bit. The cheeks turned out good, but like the lips needed a little bit of blending out. Your girl's gloss was a little too poppin'. I was super happy though to have a glitter palette. I was kind of surprised with it as a present. Thank you auntie. And these guys, I'd never seen them before, and I thought a glitter palette might be hard to work with, but these are super fun, and I suggest them to anyone who likes sparkly stuff and adding depth. It's fun to add the shinies to your painting at the end. I always love when artists add fun little shimmers or glitter or texture, and it makes it a little more like dimensional. I think that's super interesting. Probably could have done a better job with it, but that was a first time experiment. It was a test run, and I'm really happy. I'm looking forward to experimenting with it in the future and seeing what kind of stuff I can do with these shimmers. They're a little easy to get carried away. Like it took all my inner strength to not just put it everywhere. I wanted to make everything shimmery. I don't know, I draw a lot of fairies and magical stuff, so I think I'll be using the Shimmering Lights a lot in the future. They kind of it'll just work with everything. Maybe I think it will. I just like glitter. I like shiny things. Actually, before this guy, I had a sparkly nail polish that I sometimes would put on my paintings if I felt like it needed a little bit of shimmer. So I'm happy to have an actual palette that has the shimmer instead of having to nail varnish my paintings. I feel kind of bad how long it took for me to like get this gal out here. I've had this video for a while, and it took me forever to have the bravery to do a voiceover, but it's really not that bad. It's not as bad as I thought. So thank you for sticking around and watching my video and following my art and stuff. It's funny how spooky it is to try something new. I've been talking about doing this forever, and I don't know, I just didn't. I was too spooked. But as I said before, I don't know, I have some videos set up, and I'm working on stuff and hoping that this is good and people like my little speed paints, and I don't know. I'm looking forward to posting more and having more, I don't know, experimental videos and fun speed paints and story times and whatever else. Let me know if you have anything you'd like me to do. the end of this guy. I'm super happy how it turned out. I think that it was a neat first run for these paints for me, and I don't know. I'm looking forward to using them in the future. I think they really suit my style, and I'm inspired to make more stuff. I still think the face is my favorite part. I'm happy with how her cute little face turned out and her rosy little cheeks. I might have done the flowers a little different next time and that top moth, but for the most part, I'm happy. Here she is all done. Please like and subscribe. I'm looking forward to posting more content for you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye!